Greetings Summoners, and welcome back to another ProGuides Wild Rift video. My name is Terry, and today I'll be going over some major news for Wild Rift. I'm sure many of you guys already know, but the Arcane television show is coming out very soon. To go along with the television show, Riot Games is holding in-game events for all of their different platforms. Of course, this includes Wild Rift as well. In addition, with the Horizon Cup starting later this month, I'll be talking about some specific details regarding these events alongside what these events mean for the game's future. But before we begin, let's address our question of the day. Which aspect of Arcane are you guys looking most forward to? Whatever the case, leave your answers down in the comments below. And while you're down there, be sure to join our ProGuides Wild Rift Discord, link in the description. For those of you who don't know, Arcane is a television series that's coming out on Netflix. Centering around the conflicts of Piltover and Zaun, two regions adjacent to one another, the show shines light on the division of classes, while following the lives of two sisters, Jinx and Vi. Both become very violent and angry as a result of the environment that surrounds them. Upset over their own circumstances, they strive for justice in their own unique ways. Since these two champions are the stars of the show, they're actually getting unique in-game skins. But how do players get them and how much do they cost? Luckily for players, the Arcane skins are completely free. Yeah, you heard that right. Simply log into the game during the Arcane in-game event to accomplish the login mission. The first act of Arcane premieres on November 6th. November 7th to 13th are Riot's Progress Days. In essence, there will likely be in-game events and rewards during this time frame. Though Riot hasn't explicitly stated, players should be able to log in during this time frame for their Arcane skin rewards. That's a pretty short amount of time, but don't expect the Arcane events to end right there. Arcane is split into 3 acts, each releasing on different dates. Act 1 consists of episodes 1 to 3, Act 2 consists of episodes 4 to 6, and the final Act 3 consists of episodes 7 to 9. From my own personal speculations, I believe that Riot will release different events corresponding with the different acts of Arcane. Since much of the story is left unrevealed, having only a single event for the television show wouldn't make much sense, especially if they're planning on relating the events to the revealed lore. Similar to the Sentinels of Light event, Riot Games will very likely extend and grow upon the initial event that begins on November 7th. Let's take a quick look and analyze the Arcane Jinx and Vi skins. These two characters were announced very early on to star in the television show, so having their skins presented as the first reward makes sense. But what about Arcane Caitlyn and Jace? These two skins that have been officially announced for League PC, but why aren't these skins joining Wild Rift at the same time? Well, though this is purely speculation, we shouldn't eliminate the likelihood of the skins actually joining Wild Rift, since Caitlyn and Jace debut on the mobile port on November 9th, which is a little bit after the Progress Days time span allotted by Riot Games. Wild Rift developers are probably saving Arcane Jace and Caitlyn for after Act 2. This would create a continued interest to push players to not only watch Arcane's second act, but it will also have players returning to Wild Rift to play more of the game. Act 2 releases on November 13th, so Arcane Caitlyn and Jace may join Wild Rift as an event reward the very next day. To further cement this hypothesis, try to take into account that Wild Rift's events sometimes feel a little short. This will definitely correspond with the Progress Days time span that Riot Games has allotted to the players. In addition, during the Sentinels of Light event, a big portion of the awards and dialogue was hidden until the latter half. By splitting up the Arcane event, players will be able to relate more with the Arcane show while creating hype for the game alongside the animation. Now let's get a quick look over the skins. Truth be told, they're not the most impressive skins. They're really cool, reflecting the aesthetics of Arcane perfectly, but don't expect some super fancy animations and redesigns like the Dragon Mancer skin line. Rather, these Arcane skin lines excel at subtle differences from their default aesthetics. If you actually look at their intro animations for Arcane Jinx and Vi, which have been revealed, they're completely identical to their default skins. Considering they're free, I have really no complaints. I like them. There's a lot of hype around Arcane, but why should you care about Arcane outside of Wild Rift in-game rewards? Riot has created a lot of videos and animations before. From music videos, cinematic shorts, trailers for in-game events, Riot always impresses the community with their attention to detail for their video productions. If Riot's television production launches successfully and the in-game events go smoothly, then it means that they can continue to attempt the same scale projects in the future. You might even see a League of Legends movie, or even more likely, maybe we'll have more television series on other regions of Runeterra and the mystery surrounding it. I'd personally love to see Demacia on the big screen with an HD Lux. Whatever the case, these would be fantastic for Wild Rift as well because you already know Riot will hold in-game events for these releases. The more Riot Games' brand continues to grow, the better off its products inevitably become. If people unfamiliar with the franchise watch Arcane and really enjoy it, they may grow some interest in Riot Games' other products as in their video games, what they're typically really known for. As you know, Wild Rift is technically the more accessible version of League of Legends. This may result in a bit of an increase in the player base. Of course, this is being overly optimistic, but you never know. That concludes the conversation about the new event, leading us into our next topic, the Horizon Cup. I'm assuming lots of you guys haven't been keeping up with the competitive scene, but you should definitely watch at least one match from the Horizon Cup. I've said this in many videos, but I'm going to say it again. Wild Rift has been catering tons of its resources into creating a viable competitive game and esport. Since the Horizon Cup is the biggest tournament that Riot has been preparing for in regards to Wild Rift all year, they're sure to bring out all the stops to create an amazing viewing experience. Watching the tournament is showing direct support for the game. After all, if this event is successful, then the esports will likely continue to flourish. And like I've said in so many different videos, Riot is angling to be a competitive game. The esport is therefore a direct reflection of Wild Rift developers' efforts. If the Horizon Cup flops, which I sincerely doubt that it will, then honestly Wild Rift's future is very bleak. The competitive side of Wild Rift is what sets it apart from other MOBAs. A good esport is an absolute necessity for Wild Rift to flourish. If the Horizon Cup impresses, then the event validates Riot's marketing angle, thereby strengthening the community's hopes for the game's future. Whatever the case, the event will undoubtedly be a defining moment in Wild Rift's history, so tune in for yourself to form your own opinion on this matter. The tournament officially begins on the 13th of November, going on until the 21st. When I talked with Riot executive Leo Faria a while ago, he told me that the Riot team is trying really hard to create a wonderful event. They've been working arduously behind the scenes, and it's finally time to see the fruits of their labor. Some of you may be wondering, I've never watched before, so I wouldn't even know who to root for. Honestly, I don't know either. I haven't been personally keeping up with much of the regional events, but I'm super excited nonetheless. Most viewers will be cheering for their home countries or region, so why don't you do the same? I'm sorry, India. For those of you who do not have any representation, therefore still don't have anyone to root for, simply find a favorite team as you watch. Without a doubt, there will be some intense fights throughout this event, and I'm sure at least one of these teams will impress you. Wild Rift is still very much in the beginning stages of growth, with very few outstanding figures in the community. In this tournament could be the player who may become known to the world as the faker of Wild Rift. Now how cool would it be once Wild Rift really blows up in the future if you could say, I watched the finals match where they won and became legends. The amount of media exposure that goes into an event like this allows players to gain global recognition. Without a doubt, at least one of these players will see an increase in viewership for their streams after their performance on the Horizon Cup. Now, why should you personally care about that? Well, you're a viewer that watches Wild Rift content. Though I doubt that the amount of content will immediately rise. If there are more notable figures and streamers, that means there will be more Wild Rift content for you to watch as a whole. I'm sure everyone already knows, but matchmaking was reverted. I wanted to take some time to celebrate the fact that Riot heard the community's complaints. Matchmaking system was reverted to before the initial changes. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but Josh Menke, the Riot employee in charge of these recent and previous changes, stated, while we're not calling this experiment a failure overall, we do recognize that we missed the mark on giving you confidence in match fairness in Wild Rift. We hope this change feels better, and good luck, have fun in your games. In other words, Riot recognized that they messed up and promptly corrected their error. Wild Rift matchmaking still isn't perfect, and I know the game has its issues, but this is solid proof that our complaints and criticisms are working. By vocalizing our concerns, we are helping fix the game's flaws, little by little. The game developers do care about us, and they listen to us. It's easy to feel like they don't and to lose hope in the game, but let's try our best to look forward to the future events. Arcane is sure to be an amazing television show, and the Horizon Cup is sure to be an amazing spectacle to watch. These will be a very fun, festive time for Wild Rift players, so let's do our best to enjoy these events. And that concludes today's video. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for everything Wild Rift. And until next time, stay safe and have fun in your games.